this workshop to order. We stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Carly, if you can call the roll, please.
Nightier,
Here.
Thomas,
Here.
Thompson, here, Reed,
Here.
Penny.
Here. All right, let's jump right into it here. We've got the first item is the firefighters pension board appointments.
Okay, I'm gonna come down. Okay, so we have, the city has two appointed members of the firefighters pension board. Just take one and pass. So the pension board is comprised of members appointed by the city and then appointed by the firefighters, and then one shared position that's agreed upon by both. So the two appointees on behalf of the city, both of their terms expired at the end of 2024.
Are there two here or just one?
No, there's one.
Oh, okay.
So they're both expired at the end of 2024. Richard O'Connor, whose application I handed out to you, has expressed the desire to continue to serve and would like to be reappointed. The city's other appointee, Thomas McFadden, does not wish to be reappointed. He's been on the pension board for...
Who was it?
Thomas McFadden.
Oh, right, yeah.
He's been on the pension board for a long time, and I think he's just ready to be done, which is why I didn't hand out his application again. So we'll have two vacancies that we need to fill. I'll need to post one to bring in, to solicit applications for it. The other, it's really up to you all. I'm just looking for direction on whether or not you'd like to pursue reappointing Richard O'Connor for the other spot, or if you want me to advertise two vacancies. So that's why I gave you, this is the application he put in when he
That's
originally
Rick,
applied.
right?
Yes, that's right.
He's probably doing a pretty good job with his background,
Yeah.
and he enjoys doing it.
Yes,
Yeah, I would
yeah.
say advertise for one would be my position.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's what I figured. I just have to ask.
Now, is there a former firefighter on that board too?
Larry Wilson.
Larry, yeah, okay,
He's appointed from the firefighters.
okay.
So yeah, the board is composed of appointments from different groups. So the city has two appointments on the two positions.
So we need to just get one more.
If that's what you all would like, that's what I
Okay.
assumed y'all would want to do, but we don't make that choice for, just because someone wants to do it again, it's really, you all need to give us direction that you're
So
okay.
this is one of the two.
This would be one of the two. We
Okay.
would put his reappointment before you.
Right.
And then we'll solicit applications for the other,
Okay.
is what our thought would be, but I just
Sounds
needed to
good.
check with you first. So, okay, that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Next item, hurricane recovery update.
That's kind of everybody, so
They all come up.
come on up,
See,
everyone.
Lana Maker Jensen at
Likes doing this, right?
application
He
and
told me,
proposal.
yeah. He's good Hey, guys.
Morning.
How we doing?
Morning.
Well, first of all, I would like to apologize for all the air conditioners and the heaters that are not working. When it rains, it pours.
Well, thank you. I thought I was at the fire station.
I know.
Well, you could suffer with the rest of us.
It's not working in my office neither. It was 65 degrees in there.
Mine's working just fine.
Yeah.
Something,
Toasty in
right?
my office.
Yeah.
I
I
got
know.
something.
Some electric heaters
Yeah.
would do good.
I know. It's just when it rains, it pours. I know. Just, oh well, it's all right.
Okay, so who's starting it off?
I'll go first.
Who's the lead?
Mine's short and sweet. As we just continue on, replacing plants and stuff in there, the causeway is almost done, and then we'll be moving to where our billboard is and just try to, slowly getting stuff back together. Our garbage debris removal is 100% complete. They're supposed to be sending an invoice through Tetra Tech. So I'm not sure what that is. They tried to send it Friday, but my email kicked it back, so they're trying something else, and I think we had issues with the server or something. So, and pretty much everybody's cleaned up. There was one little pile that somebody brought out late, but they're just going to have to do a special pickup because it was all green. You can tell it was not, hurricane debris, but
Right.
we're pretty much done. But yeah, no, we're just slowly moving along.
Did I see the new little fire truck in the park? Is that the new one or the old?
No, that's the old one. The new
Oh.
stuff for that's supposed to be coming the middle of March.
Okay.
And then that'll get moving, and they're just on a hold up on the park with the, just with everything that happened and the trusses and all the hurricane damage and everything being backed up.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the hold up on that right now. But that's pretty much about all I got.
Good. Yeah. How about you, Chief?
Last week, Jim and I got to scramble a little bit. Apparently, the initial bill for the comfort station, Post-Helene, was sent to St. Pete Beach, even though it was for ours. So it's been kind of passed back and forth. No, it was not paid. So anyway, luckily we got it just in time so we can pay it, and I believe Jim get it submitted in the FEMA process, correct? So we want to make sure we got it submitted to get reimbursed potentially. And also, we're trying to figure out, we believe the deployment of the comfort station post Milton, remember how they had to tear it down because of the winds and then put it back up? That should be a state mission, so therefore that should be directly handled by the state, I believe, without us having to pay.
That's all we can find out.
Yeah, so that one may not be a pass-through, that may be a direct state payment, which would help because it was very expensive. And the only other thing, I've been looking, there's some options out there with a vehicle, Army surplus vehicle called a light medium tactical vehicle, LMTV is what they call it for short. It's basically a 4x4 high lift vehicle. It does have a bed in the back that has bench seating so you can rescue people. We think it would, well, we know it would also fit the new boat we got in the back of it. The main advantage of this is the stock vehicle is able to navigate in 30 inches of water, and there's also a modification kit you can buy that raises the air intake up and gives you about 5 or 6 more inches of clearance. So about 3 foot of water this vehicle could go through if we had another event like Helene. It gets a little complicated, and there are multiple methods to obtain one. There is a wait list with the Division of Forestry, Florida Division of Forestry, where you get on a wait list, and when they have a surplus, you can go kind of look through what they have, find the one you want, and then try to get it back to your place and refurbish it. So sometimes you do have to put quite a bit into it to get it fully functional. But it is a free loaner from the Florida Division of Forestry. There are also multiple auctions I found out across the U.S. There's one in Kentucky, there's one I think in Nevada, but they get caches of these vehicles, and then you can do an online auction. Once again, that would be your responsibility to bring it back and get it running and everything like that.
Are these kind of made to go through water and things like that? So, okay.
Treasure Island has a MTV,
Yeah.
medium tactical vehicle. It is actually the 6-wheel drive version. I think it's a little too big for what we need, to be honest with you. We want the short, maneuverable one, the LMTV. And then there are places that do refurb for you, and then you purchase it from them. So I saw one online that said you can expect about 50 grand, and then I called a place called Memphis Equipment in Tennessee, of all places. Their base price, what they do is they get one for you, and then they make sure it's running, and then you can customize it yourself. The base price is $37,500, and then if you did things like paint, if we did paint and then did the modification kit for the exhaust, the air intake, raising it up, it would be about $45,000. So I'm trying to figure out, what's our best approach here. Looking at the city code, right? Those prices would require a what's the word I'm looking for, Jim? Bid.
Bid.
Yeah. So I guess that would be the step, is to create that and see what kind of response we get. See how many companies put in for the bid. What would the time frame on something like that be? Do you have any idea?
It's pretty slow, I think. I don't know, 45 days, probably.
They're all used vehicles?
They're all Army surplus, yes, sir. Military surplus.
So there's nothing, okay.
Yeah, you don't, it's not a new one. What these companies do though is they take the surplus and make sure it's running, brakes, transmission, things like that. If you'll notice, well, maybe you guys didn't, but during Helene, Treasure Island had theirs at the EOC, but then it broke down and they couldn't actually, it sat there till after both storms. But they did get theirs through the Division of Forestry program where it's up to you to get it, running and stuff like that.
If we do get it, who would do maintenance on it and repair it?
Locally.
It would be the people we contract out for the fire trucks for
Gotcha.
Loveland Fire District, yes, sir. And that's a great point, right? Because it's one of those things that doesn't get used all the time, so it'd be up to us to have a regular schedule of driving around, oil changes, things like that. I mean, we hope to never have to use it, but it would have really come in handy during. Because that was what was stopping us, right? Was the water levels that were.
Seems like a reasonable amount of money for that.
Yeah, I think if we could, I was hoping for 50 or under would be the.
Even without a hurricane, we've got some really low spots that when it floods, it floods.
That's a
So,
good point. You look at the area around City Hall, around Oleander, where installed vehicles get, it could.
Oleander
it
over
could see
there.
use, sure, yeah.
Could reroute the exhaust on more vehicles.
Yeah.
You had to,
I just had a comment, it's kind of an unusual situation, because, over 35,000, we gotta go out for bid. It doesn't sound like we know exactly what we want. I mean, we go out there and you may never get, it's not like it's completed, you're gonna get it, you're gonna have to do, you're gonna have to bring it up to, the ability to use. So I didn't know if there's a way to waive that requirement in this situation, if the commission could do something like that. I don't know, Eagle might be able to help me. But, we could definitely get quotes. I mean, when we get multiple quotes and try to look at the best option, but I don't, like in a bid, it's usually apples to apples. You're liable to not get 3 vehicles that are exactly the same, so it's gonna be kind of difficult to use the bid or RFP process, I think.
So you think maybe it's because if it was new versus being used, because we don't know what kind of
Well,
conditions?
if it was new, you'd probably get, you can lay out the specs you want, you could probably find that vehicle in 2 or 3 places, but.
Yeah.
Won't be for 50 grand.
These are all pretty much, when they refurb, when you buy one that's refurbed, do they guarantee that it's like gonna run? Even though you have, even though you have, you're gonna make some changes, but I mean, are they at least mechanically gonna
That's
run?
the idea is they are, you get a running vehicle. Now, as far as actual warranty, I haven't, I'm trying to check real quick, but, it is a used vehicle. All trucks were built to order or mechanically reconditioned for your application. But yeah, I was thinking about warranty, but I'll look into it. And we'll see if we can, like Jim said, if I could find multiple companies that do this restoration and get multiple bids, and perhaps, we can look into the quote and see if one or the other has a more substantial warranty than the other, or if it's,
That's a good question,
fire
yeah.
beware kind of thing. And I guess that's what we were looking at, right, is ideally.
That's what we're looking at, something like that?
Yes, sir. Yep.
So you got Memphis Equipment to get back to you. That's-
Yeah, we talked to Ray in the
Okay.
sales department. He was, very informative over the phone, not so much to email. What I did find out, because they have all these vehicles on their website, but what they do is they take pictures of once the order is completed. So any truck you see on their site, he said that's a truck that's already been paid for and shipped out. They don't keep them like on a lot. You order it, they refurb it, and then they trailer it down to you.
Oh, so they don't drive it down.
No, they want it to be running with it.
Yeah, they want
You're
to
right,
run
yeah.
when it gets-
You wouldn't wanna ride in
Oh,
that
yeah.
thing.
There are,
I know about a whole 40
dump
miles an
bed
hour.
options, I
Yeah.
don't necessarily think we need that,
That's like one of my beds on there.
yeah.
It does.
Let me see that.
I think those are Hinos, aren't they?
That's right, an
Hino
F-150.
engines.
No.
No. They're an F-150 in the back.
Mm.
Yeah.
550 maybe.
But I guess what I could do, if it's acceptable to y'all, and the goal would be to have it before hurricane season, see how many people would submit quotes or bids, and then, decide if we, are acceptable with that
Yeah.
method.
Let legal look at
Yeah.
what we can do there, and if not, then at least you're on the path of,
Our fear with a bid, right, is you could get a company that bids for one as is versus, I guess we'd have to be very specific on, we want a running, rebuilt, ready to go
Yes.
vehicle. Because there are auctions all over that start at around $6,000, so you could get one in for a low price. The question is, how much work do we have to put into it?
like the site I was just at was some kind of an auction place, and they were bidding started at $3,600.
Mhm.
Tires are worth more than that.
One. But that would definitely be a good hit, though.
Well, we
especially
might
the-
be able to secure another donation towards that too, this coming year.
I wondered if the partial, right, they did have a limit on the amount of donation, but that would certainly offset, right, or, yeah, this is a little higher, that's why we wanna go with that, and this transports, you could, in fact, if you had a family of 5, you could
Get
put
'em in the back.
and get them out, so. There is also, and we've already discussed internally, the potential of, putting in a portable pump and a portable tank. Think about like that structure fire we had where it was chest deep water we couldn't get to. It's not the ideal, it's not, meets the qualifications of an NFPA pump or anything, but you could at least potentially put some water and protect exposures.
Well, so look at it, at least, see what we can find out.
And considering what I normally spend for vehicles, $50,000 doesn't seem.
I've ridden in one. We went dog sledding up to Lance, but they took us up to the top of the mountains to send one. It was quite the adventure, sitting in the back of the open bed.
It's not meant for comfort, that's for sure. That's all, I think I had, those 2 items, so thank you.
Okay.
Oh, and the sign got fixed, Vice Mayor.
I saw that.
The sign's almost fixed.
Looks good.
The sign's
Thank
fixed, but we
you.
gotta bring them back. There's a
Hate
couple
that
items they
sign.
need to
Looks good.
reevaluate on it or
They got the number up too?
Yeah.
I haven't gone that way.
I just forgot to reconnect the electric.
Small detail.
Small details.
It gave us L's instead of I's. Yeah.
You can't spell either, can they?
Station,
Yeah.
instead of an I, it's an L
L.
with electrical tape. So from
You're
the
joking.
No.
they're gonna come back. and fix it.
Can't make this stuff up.
Man.
No. They'll be back. They've already told us that.
Wow, points for creativity.
Yeah. It looked good going down the road
I
at 50.
guess.
Can't
yeah.
even tell.
I think that's called an as-built, am I?
What you got, Terry?
I've had a busy, busy morning. So, this morning I was blessed with 2 permit techs, sort of. They both showed up this morning. I had no idea they were coming,
I didn't either.
so I was not prepared.
Were they here yesterday?
No,
Okay.
no, today. They got hired last night and are here this morning.
Where are they from? Ah,
So one worked for Anderson and did their permit running, and the other did intake for right-of-way permits at Tampa, City of Tampa. So She has at least a little bit of experience. We're working through that. I've got them set up to answer phones right now because I'm working on having Vertec give me logins for them because I wasn't prepared. So we're working through that. We do have 2 people that are now in the office today.
For how long?
They said they're here as long as I need them.
Wow, I like that.
I don't think they know what they're getting into.
Well, and that's, the morning started out with lots of people coming in, lots of phone calls and trying to tell them how to do things and what to do. So it's been a little busy this morning.
How much are they costing us?
They're sent through a state mission, so I'm not sure how that, I'm assuming it's all reimbursable.
Yeah, if it's a state mission, Director Guthrie, after Milton said the state would handle that, so we just need to confirm that there won't be a pass-through, that they would actually cover that. It does have a state number, so it is a state mission. The county keeps reaching out, and then they have to go to the state for
Yes.
answers, so this did come from the state.
So that it's a wonderful thing, and I'm very excited about it. It's just, I wasn't quite expecting that first thing this morning, so I'm not as prepared with some other things.
How are the new hours working out?
They are working out wonderfully.
I thought
We
so.
are able to get stuff input and have that little bit of time to be able to process things. And it is, and not getting a ton of complaints. We've had a couple. We did order a drop box for downstairs. We put that right outside the front door. So it's a lockable box that people can drop for parcels and for dropping off whatever they need to drop off if they come during our closed hours. Because in the beginning, we were kind of running downstairs because we felt bad. So, and that was kind of defeating the purpose because then we're downstairs talking to them instead of upstairs. So we've now got that set up. So I'm working on a sign to put over it so they don't think it's a trash can. Other than that, we're down to 27 substantial damage letters that need to go out, and some of them are city property, and the rest are ones that I don't have all the information for yet. So, and as people are contacting us, we're trying to reach out and get the information, but we don't have any ownership information for the individual unit owners at Causeway Village. So.
Receiving more permit requests?
Oh, yeah. Yes. In fact, we've got, they finally submitted all of the applications for Le Chateau. So we got 3 boxes full of permit applications on Thursday, I think it was, Wednesday or Thursday.
Complex?
Yeah.
Oh, good,
So
good.
for
I know
each
you were,
individual building.
didn't have many, yeah.
So they had originally only submitted 3 applications for 3 different buildings, thinking they would then duplicate it once they got approval. So we received all those on Thursday. So we're processing those. It's all the ones on Shore Drive are now starting to come in finally. So we've been a little busy. We've got a few on the island that are demoing and rebuilding. A few in Causeway Village that are demoing. So it's
I
getting
was
there.
over at Causeway Village yesterday, and they said, there was 3 of them standing in the road. They had said, we have everything nice to say about the department. That's what
Wonderful.
they said. And of course, Causeway Village was the one that.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I received a thank you note was in my box that said that y'all had done a really nice job. So that was nice. It was a girl from La Chateau.
Okay.
The realtor.
Marcia, yeah.
Is it Marcy? I don't know.
Nice. Yeah, they're, people are starting to be a little nice. Most people are starting to be a little nicer.
Yeah.
We're still getting some very angry people. But for the most part, people are understanding and coming around.
A lot of them's misunderstanding.
Yes.
Is where a lot of the anger comes from. Yeah.
I always say you don't know behind the scenes.
Yeah.
It's,
You just speak from the front and you don't know what's going in the back.
yes.
Exactly.
It was a traumatic event too, right?
Absolutely.
It was, yeah. Yep.
Never again.
Well, the towers, Lutheran Towers, I talked to Mr. Langford, They're gonna rehab it, you know, they had thought of taking it down, but they are gonna rehab it.
Yes, because they can't build it back the way.
Taking
Yeah.
the building down?
They were gonna just take it down and build 2 small ones, but because of the code that was there, they can't do what they wanted to do, so they're gonna rehab that building.
And, Barclay, Eddie Lots, is that what it's called now?
Yeah.
Barclay, sorry. They are in the process of getting their permits as well, so, in the springs as well. So we're-
Other communities coming along as well too, with their things.
Sunderland is also, I think we're still waiting on like 2 documents from them, and then, process all theirs, they got all their applications in. So,
Okay. Well,
It's-
good. Moving along slowly, but getting there, and,
it is.
yeah, yeah. Well, you got a little help now, or maybe
I'm hopeful.
some of the backlog. you
If
caught.
nothing else, they can, no plan reviewers, just the 2 permit techs and. No, exactly, and since they don't have the experience with the program, and I need to get licenses for, so I may have to get additional licenses for Energov, in order to even be able to do input, so, it'll be a,
Hopefully we can write those licensing laws.
should be able to have that included as part of the, because it's a FEMA,
Yeah.
because of the storm, we had to do this, so it should be able to, but
Keep our fingers crossed.
I don't know.
Talk about the building. So, we don't have, solid information on some of the costs that we're gonna have downstairs. There's been a lot of issues with, dealing with our insurance, provider. I don't know if Jim wants to talk about that at all. But we're working on putting together basically what the options would be for the city, for this building specifically. So, there's obviously the thought of, we could potentially, as long as we're not deemed substantially damaged, which we don't have a determination on that quite yet, because some of the numbers are still not final. If the building's not deemed substantially damaged, there is the thought there that we could put it back the way it was. Just put Hibiscus Hall back in, kitchen, just basically the goal, put it back. The city could also decide to leave it, and not have a usable first floor. If there's the thought there that it could flood again and we don't want to use money to put something back that could flood again, we don't have to have nothing on the first floor was something we're required to have. We're not required to have an event, that's just things that we use, but we don't have to have it. So in that case, we would focus on just sort of mitigating, any future risk, moving electrical up, that kind of thing, just trying to flood proof the first floor and just leave it open, basically. Then there's the thought of doing that to the first floor and potentially building up another floor above and trying to add back in having an event room and whatnot on an upper floor. So those are kind of the 3 sort of big picture options that we're trying to get a handle of the financial implications of for those 3 options. So, but we don't have certain answers on some other things, for example, like how our insurance is going to be processed and whatnot, and what funding is potentially available for us to help mitigate. Like if there's a decent amount of money that could be used for mitigation, we may want to build up, because if, the federal government's going to help us pay for it, why not? So we're trying to get some of those answers in order to sit down and be able to present more specifics with you all, but those are kind of the options as we see them right now, if that makes sense. So we had talked with Wanamaker Jensen, which are the architects that did the fire station for us. We really enjoyed working with them through that process, so we reached out to them. They put together the proposal that was attached with the agenda, for doing some studies on the building and getting some costs and potential ideas together. So we're kind of wanting to discuss that with you all a little bit today.
The scary part is the 2 pages of what's not included.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
that.
the hourly rate chart.
But
Yeah.
here's something to think about. I mean, we do have the other building, the fire department
We do.
building. I mean, maybe we want to think about refurbing parts. I know we were going to use like the garage and stuff for maybe for
That's what we're talking-
public
yeah.
works, but there's space over there. Maybe because there isn't going to be enough space on this floor for anything right, if we add people or anything like that.
Yeah. I mean,
So
that
I'm
is-
just thinking, rather than try to go up, maybe what we want to do is look at refurbing the old
And
fire
that's really up to
station.
you all, I think. I think you all may, and not necessarily today, but may need to start thinking and talking about what you really want to be able to offer to the community. Because, you know, we had a community room before we had Hibiscus Hall. Is that important to you? If it is the location of that important to you? I mean, this is obviously a waterfront piece of property.
Right.
What do you all see as the future of what you want to offer to the community? That is really a policy question for you all. So do you want, if we build up, you could have a waterfront room, or this property is more valuable, you could move stuff, you could move city operations across town and save that money. It's really what you all want to offer to the community.
Well, I mean, the city is so small that it wouldn't matter if we were spread out into 3 or 4 different buildings. I
No.
mean,
No.
we're close enough to get Sean a couple of those little carts he can drive around. But, I mean, it just seems like, depending on the price and the cost, it could be pretty extensive to go
Well, whatever
up.
we do, we gotta raise the electrical down there, it sounds like. So if it does flood, at least we don't have that
To be
issue
in a
again.
better, correct, yeah.
So that'll take care of that problem.
Yes.
You know, to prevent flooding, there is the dam system you can put around a building like, to prevent water coming in too.
Well, kinda like they had at the Bayfront.
Like at the hospital?
Yeah.
I think the city of St. Pete just bought a $6 million setup. They go around their areas.
And the one over
You
Palm
could build up for that.
went over the top of it. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely went over that.
That's an option.
Yeah, you could try hardening downstairs, but still you're gonna get water, if it comes, unless you had like that dam system and it works, when the time comes.
One of the other options could be to build up the glass so that it's a solid wall, waterproof it, and then just do the panels like they did at Kelly's or the
Where?
storage facility in Kelly's where they have the.
Oh, right.
Instead of having
Yeah.
floor to
Flood
ceiling window,
panels.
just have a
Yeah.
window.
But you'd have to go up very high with those windows.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, about 4 feet, 5 feet.
I think you're probably closer to 5 or 6.
You just end up with a narrow window.
Mm-hmm.
So the lighting would change dramatically
Yeah.
down there, but that is another thought.
Option.
And then if you open
Think
it
about
up,
it,
you
this
could
is
then have
77
additional
grand
parking.
just to get started here. Well, at least 2 phase tasks 1 through 3, and then you still got task 4 and 5.
Um,
And it sounds like enough to put it back to the way it was.
That's 77, that would just about do this place.
What's that?
But
Not the
now it's
walls.
back to the way it was,
And the
about 80 grand.
yeah.
But that's the way it was.
Without an architect.
They quoted us $465,000, the guy who done the initial work.
Yeah. To put it, that's just to put it back.
Just to put it back.
Which is sort of why we're hesitant to just come in and say, let's just put it back, because it's not cheap to do that, and we don't know what storm season's gonna bring in 6 months.
I'd have to see that exactimate.
You're saying put it back the way it is? As force, yeah, just the way it
Yeah,
is,
exactly.
with all the glass and everything?
I'd have to go through it line by line.
Yeah.
And putting it back does not modify the windows or anything like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
That's the way it was.
Just, yeah, putting it back exactly.
Yeah, and that was, that's not counting blocking it and waterproofing it neither.
Yeah, that's just putting.
And that's probably on the high side, but that's what that was, an Xactimate.
How much of that would be covered by insurance?
We're still
That's
arguing
not
with
going
them
very
right
well
now.
right now.
Yeah.
We're not we're not in the same book on numbers. I was gonna say we're not on the same page. We're not on the same book with numbers with the insurance providers. The numbers they're giving us just do not make sense at all.
The flood insurance, that one was pretty close. You know, that one was up there, but yeah, it's our regular insurance, I don't know where they're coming from.
Well, the funds should cover a lot of it, won't it? Or no?
It was-
Replace the
Do you remember the
drywall.
number? Was it 360?
It was like 364, 365,
Okay.
you know, which
We
is,
just got that, we just.
I think
got that
Friday. Yeah, I think Friday afternoon that one came.
They're saying 365, look it over. The process is, first, that gets deducted from what insurance property, so whatever they say they're gonna give us, they reduce it by that, and they cover the difference, and then any
and other things.
I don't know if we need a private adjuster, maybe
But
look at it.
the values that they quoted us at the last insurance meeting, Sean was there, it was just, we just said no right out of the box, and we got into some issues with them, and so we gotta get back with them, just to try to understand where their numbers are coming from, so.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they're gonna low, try to get you low anyway.
Some blood pressure boiling right there.
Okay, well, it gives us something to think about, I guess. I don't know if we wanna jump on this right away or not. So we make some kind of decision. What do you guys think?
Well, this is a 50-year-old building. There's a reason we built a new fire station. I mean, I think it's time that we just take a good, hard look at this, you know. I hope I'm wrong, but, you know, you typically see these storms start taking more and more frequency. I think we need to plan that in the next 50 years, there's gonna be another one. So I think, you know, we can't kick the can down the road on the cost of this, because it's just gonna continue to go up, just as we saw the fire station costs go up. I mean, I know it's expensive, but I think a good, hard look at the feasibility of where this building, the future this building holds, is probably money well spent.
Well, we'd harden downstairs, raise those walls, just put in some like little vent-sized light, windows around it. Raise up all the electrical.
I think we should do that. I really do.
At least there'd be a meeting room, that people could use, still have some things in. Wouldn't be like it was, that's for sure. It would be a difference. But we wouldn't have to look at the expense of either tearing this whole place down and trying to rebuild, or to try to rebuild a third floor. Which I think would not be cheap.
Well, to rebuild a third floor, you'd still have to fix the first floor.
No matter what. Well, let's just turn it into park here.
Yeah, I mean, if we went up, it would, the thought for downstairs would just basically open it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all the electrical and stuff.
Move that up
That's
and then
right.
just kind of leave
The
it.
elevators.
So,
Can stay right there.
yeah, just leave that. That was the thought if you chose to go up, was not to finish the first floor again.
So right now, everything's kind of on hold down there until we figure out.
Yeah, because we honestly need more numbers. We don't even have a final substantial damage determination on this building because the numbers are kind of all over the place a little
Yeah.
bit. It could potentially be close, and if it's substantially damaged, you couldn't finish the first floor again anyway. So,
Well, the first thing we gotta do to even proceed is we'll have to go out for bid, since it's over 35,000, we'll have to go out for bid. So we have to kinda know which direction to go out to bid, so that's the purpose of what Wanamaker's doing now, tell us what our options are, bring it back, decide what way to go, so we can start the bid process, basically. FEMA has told us in the bid process, you need to get the bid on bringing it to pre-storm, and then you can go to the mitigation, the hardening, because there's mitigation monies available through grants, but it's a totally separate process. So FEMA's only gonna pay you to bring it back to pre-storm, basically, is what I'm hearing. And then if we decide to harden it, we would have to do some mitigation grants through FEMA. They would work, they say they would work with us, but we have to kind of have a plan before we can even start that kind of process. So that's what we're trying to accomplish.
and we kind of wanted to get a feel from you all of what you
So,
potentially would like to see.
Wanamaker and Jensen, they will look at different ideas. The third floor idea, the ground floor idea, whatever.
Yeah, so the.
And then provide us what
that's
they think is the
um,
most feasible and cost effective.
Yeah, that's what, if you look at task 4, the renovation conceptual design, the renovation meaning building up. And then the task 5 was basically demo and start over. I don't think were giving us anything about just redoing the first floor, because they knew we were already having to do that, to get
Yeah.
that quote already.
Well, I could see us getting up to task 4, look at the drawings and that, then have to make a decision afterwards. Because then you start looking at the demo and design is another cost, and then, of course, going out to bid, which is another cost, and everything's a cost. But at least we got to the point of task 4, where we got a conceptual design. By then, fingers crossed, we'd know how much insurance we got to go towards the expense, and if there's any type of grants or anything out there for us. So what do you guys think? You want to move forward up to tax 4?
Yeah, I'm for that.
Go to task 4 and make a decision.
Yeah. Okay.
That makes sense.
Need to vote at a regular meeting, or?
Just do it on-
Yeah, you make it up.
Okay. All right. Anybody got anything else for us? Carl, you got nothing? Wow.
She always has something.
Grab the gavel, change the mind.
Talk more if you want, I'm always here to chat. Always stuff to talk about.
All right, guys, well, I guess we're done. Let's adjourn. Thank you, everyone. Have a warm morning.
Yes, stay warm. Not